Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hi, Ash. We're gonna jump into games. Oh, it's a lot darker than I thought. Let's jump right in. Hmm. Ooh, we have another TTV. All right, here we go. Springtrap. He just came out of that back one. Oh, he actually reached me. Ooh, GG. You filthy animal. Hi, Matt. What's up? Matt, get your check-in. Hi, Ronnie. Thank you for getting your check-in, Ronnie. How are you, Ronnie? How are you? How's everybody's week been? Guys, I'm drinking some ginger. Game is a little crackly. Ooh, we have a command for that now. There's a command. I think it's static. I've been good a little bit, but you're back. Crackly. How about crackly? Crunchy. There you go. It's crunchy. I have to change it.
I'm glad you found me.
Crunchy. How are you doing, Ronathan? How was your week? I couldn't remember. I just made that command up. Whatever, bro. We haven't done a single other gen. We haven't done a single gen. Why did he come to me? I'm over this week. Oh, don't worry. Me too. Let me fix my audio. Oh, there you go. Soccer's been fun to watch. Yeah, soccer's been really great. What's wrong with this week, Ronnie? And I'm making bread. Ooh, what kind of bread are you making? Are you making a sourdough? Thanks. Are you making a sourdough? Do you have a bread maker? Okay, they got 2 gens.
You're the best.
Somehow. I'm just gonna go back to this. Oh. He wants me dead, so yeah, look at him right there. Here we go. He left me alone. Hella busy. I'm making a bagel kind of bread. Ooh, that's cool. Wait, that has to be a perk. Great skill checks make gens corrupt. Matt, how busy have you been? Like, where's busy with work, busy with life shit? This was my like 3rd week of work, so it's really just me getting used to my commute, my schedule. I'm feeling really good about work so far. No complaint. Wait, Ronnie, that's so cool. How much? Okay, so how long does it take to make the bread? Like, how long do you have to wait for it? Yeah, I am liking work so far. I'm working with some restaurants in Milwaukee, and some of them are really spirited and like eager to like be on the program. So I'm really excited to like have different restaurant partners for sure. I'm just gonna go for gens at this point, I think. Yeah. What in the... That's his first toad. I think I'm gonna... Hi Ash, welcome in. Sorry, we had to refresh earlier. Okay, let's heal. Ash, how's your week been? How's your day? Yes, get your check-ins, everyone. Matt, get your check-in, bro. I'm gonna go this way. Why not cleanse a totem? Oh, do you want to do it? Okay, good job. Oh, he's blessing her. Excuse me. It's been a day, a week. Something's going on astrologically. No, I felt that. I need him to take. Okay, he brought the chase to main. I'm doing good. I was just saying to Ronnie that this is like my real first week of work, even though it was like a short ass week. But I'm getting used to my commute and like what the actual job is. So I had a good cry earlier. It was therapeutic. Okay, a good cry, but I hope it was a good cry of like, this is it. This is the last time I'm crying about this thing. You know. I totally understand needing to get a good cry out there. Where's the spring trap? Sorry, guy. No. I'm on death hook. I'm so sorry. I'm on death hook, bro. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to sandbag you. I'm so sorry. I honestly didn't even know he was there, so it wasn't intentional. Star, hi, friend. Nice. He tunnels. Go, go, go. Come back, come back. I take this hit. Go, 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 go. Yes, let's go. Go, 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 go. It's fine. I took the hit. I took the hit. I deserve that. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, I'm so sorry to that TV. It was so not my intention. I totally sandbagged him by accident. Baby is in the oven. Woohoo! It probably won't be, but it's fine. I'm fine. Ash, you know, you're a real one for being here all the time and like hanging out with me. Please know that I'm there for you, and if you ever need anything, if you ever just want to vent, I'm here. I appreciate you even just being here. Okay, which door is it? Is it this door? No, right? No. It's the other door. Is it a Mori? Oh no, he picks him up. Damn. Ooh, the dessert gives you a random ability. Okay, I'm so sorry to that guy. That was so not my intention. I'm so sorry. He threw his axe. Goodbye. No, of course. I appreciate you for being here. It's been so great to get to know you and to have you around, and stream's just better with you in it. Like, it's honestly a vibe when you're here, you know? Okay, so how long are you baking it for? Let me see, Ronnie, if you answered. Oh yeah, 30, okay. It poofed for 2 hours, and now it's doing its last rise after shaping, maybe 30 minutes, and then baby goes in the oven. Okay, so how long is it in the oven? Hi, Star. Welcome in. Thank you for getting your check-in. Sorry, I was locked in. I just want to make sure I survived. How are you doing, Star? How was your week? I hope you had the best week ever. Here, let's get some shout-outs, because I don't have any. There you go. Yes, of course, of course. Wait, Ronnie, when was your last stream? I can't watch stream during the day anymore just because how my schedule is, and I feel like I just spent the last like 4 months being in your streams during the day, being in green streams, even taco streams during the day, you know? And now I can't because I'm literally working. It was Tuesday. Ooh, how was your stream? Are you enjoying the event so far, or was it before the event started? Star, tell me about your week. I hope it was a good week. I have to burp. This ginger ale. Ew. I've been okay. We are having a heat wave. We have a heat wave here too. And I'm still recovering from mini vacation, so I'm sleepy. And we have a short week this week, right? Like, are you off tomorrow, or do you have work tomorrow too? Like a half day. Oh my god, it was. Taco and I took edibles before we tried to play Panic War. That sounds like a bad idea. So we just did DVD, but overall it was a good stream. That sounds like a lot of fun. I hope Taco's doing well too. We're playing Sims tomorrow, guys. Okay, I think our Sims stream tomorrow will be rebuilding our house, because I haven't done that yet. You're off tomorrow, Star? That's so nice to hear. I love that. I love that. Do you think you'll be streaming tomorrow at all? I should be free in the evening, but so far I'm streaming tomorrow morning. I'm also pushing stream earlier, so I'll probably be live more like 9:30 than 10 or than 11. Excuse me. But it'll be like coffee stream with Justin, you know? Like our good old days. Creamy pasta. How master. Damn, I was trying to eat it while I was running. Oh, there's no Jen up here now. Let me get another piece of pasta. Pasta! Oh, honestly, I could just do this. One. Ooh. Thrill of the hunt. Wow. Hi, Allie. Thank you for the resub. Happy anniversary. Oh my god, is it our 16th anniversary? Okay, what'd you get me? Thank you for resubbing, Allie. How are you? Make sure you get your check-in. Hello. Real and Ruin? Oh, it's Ruin too? How do you know it's Ruin? Wait, how did you know it was Ruin? It's that how temps legit determine. Oh, okay. Yeah, either tomorrow or late Saturday. I don't know how I feel it cools off. Yeah. If it's too hot, it's gonna be a hell no for me. No, dude, it's been so hot here. It's been so hot here, and she's literally coming the fuck back, bro. What? Why are people like? What are we doing? Why? I just got off hook. Like, what are we doing? Once I got off. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna get tunneled out, guys. 106 today? What? You just set it up in Noah's room? Ooh. Yeah, like Dwight, it's now or never. Look, she's already coming back over here. Yo, come here. Come here. I'm trying to heal you, bruv. Okay, thank you. You know what? I'll let him heal. Touch me. Touch me! You don't have AC in the house? No! Oh no. I know that's, like, miserable. I hate being, like, super hot, like, to the point of discomfort.
I owe you one.
I have 5% haste somehow? Wow, Dwight's just there. Oh, there's another hex here. Let's see. Okay. It is ruin. Okay, it is ruin. It is ruin. It is ruin. Ronnie, you were right. Hi, Ark. Welcome in. Guys, get your check-ins if you haven't. Thank you, Ark. How are you, Ark? How was your week? Yeah. Take that off. Take that off. No. Just irritating. Oh, she wants to kill. Oh no, she's unstable. Quick. Run, girl, run. She's gonna throw him right. She's throwing the dog right over here, right? Before you make it. There you go. Damn. Can't stay too long. Wanted to pop in and say hello. Thank you for being here, Ark. It means so much to me. Ark, how was your week? I hope you had a good week at work. I know you won't be here long, but best thing to happen this week? Ooh, can I get a whiff? She died. That's so unfortunate. Oh, I forgot that's what it does. An unbreakable pallet. Ooh. She's gonna go for the 4K, so I'm gonna do this and have a morsel. And I can take hits. There's no way we get gens done. And I don't have my hatch offering. I'm gonna just do, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna do Cleanse the Totem. I hope everyone's staying. Yes, everyone stay hydrated. It's too hot. Central air, yeah. Next big investment is HVAC. Damn! I didn't know how far she was. That's fine, that's fine. Go, go, go. Oh wait, I have to pick up a morsel. Thank you for the lurk, Ronnie. I hope dinner goes well and that your bread turns out. I'm just gonna stay here. He needs to mend. For a whole heating system? Oh, you have to switch to electric heat? No way. We all gonna hide in. Everyone just camp out in Nola's room. Okay, growing up, like me, my mom, and my brother, we would all just like camp out in my mom's bedroom because she's the only room with AC. And my brother and I would alternate sharing the bed with her. Like one of us would sleep on the ground, the other would. Is there another table? Oh, the table's in the middle. Do you think I have time? Do you think I make it to main? No. Oh, she sees Dwight. What? You see what you did, Dwight? You see what you did? I was trying to just get hatched. Why did Dwight bring her to me? GG's. GG's. My PlayStation gave me a warming. It was too hot. Is that how warm it was in your house? No way. I was literally getting tunneled at the beginning. You know? That was weird. That was weird for Dwight to do after I was getting tunneled. And he did all that to save me. Let's get a shout out for... I think that's everyone. 106 degrees is crazy. Damn, that front camera on Instagram really is trash. It's a Vecna. Hi Rambo, welcome in. How you doing, cutie? What's up? How are you? Thank you for your check-in. How's your week been? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, he is zooming. He's trying to poison me. Oh, damn. Thank you, Ada. Ada took that from me. I don't know why, but thank you. Thank you, girly pop. Thank you, girly pop. Let's get another piece of food. In the basement, girl. Hello, Justin. Hi, Lanine. Hello, Justin. The way that's written sounds like my arch nemesis. Arch nemesis. Ah! Oh! No! Gertrude. Oh my god, Delaney, is that you, you silly goofy? No. Girl, the baby keeps finding all the Barbie shoes. Every time I pick up, she has another one. I'm sick. She's just hungry. Does she put them in her mouth? Be honest. That speed boost is like, it kind of pushes you forward instead of just increases your speed. Like, I literally slid into the wall. Gabriel, Ben Akim, the laners, how are you? Thanks for coming in. I am Rambo. Gertrude, guys, what? Why are all three of you down there? That's insane. Excuse me. I could have healed her. What is... Oh, I hear Meg. Heal me. Yes, thank you for following, friend. Yeah, dude, I was about to watch Germa. What the hell is Germa? Germa elephant? Germa elephant? Thank you. No, stop. Gens, I guess. When I was working at the, like, home and garden center or store, I was saying Germa is another streamer. Oh. I used to say I didn't want my real name on my name tag, so I would just pick the name Gertrude. I'm scared. Where's my plaything? Okay, I'm gonna go get Gabe. Gabriel. Ahora vengo. Oh, they're taking this chase right in here. It's kind of nasty. No. No. Stop it. Stop it. Guys, my teammates are struggling. He's already on them. I think I just have to get the gen accomplished at this point. Oh my god, Rambo with 3 streams is crazy. I hope I didn't mess up any streaks. I don't want to mess up any streaks anymore. I messed up CJ's. Here we go. Meg, I'm coming. Okay. Nina. Yoinked Gabe. I think it's literally my teammates. My teammates are just struggling today. She could have eaten that cake too. Oh, she's AFK. Oh, it's on Meg somehow? Why is she on Meg? Come back later? Yeah. Ooh, Portillo's. Okay, big back, patty whack. Had a really big stream streak in it. I know. Oh no, even though you were there every day, that sucks. I just want to pop this. I don't even care if I get caught right now. Yep. Just caught slipping. He left me? No, I just don't see him. He's like right there. No! Ah! The killer isn't chasing you. You're chasing the killer. Literally. Guys, what are our teammates doing?
You're the best.
On Ada. Phew. Okay, I need to lurk. Yes, go find some dinner. Go find some dinner. We will be here, Star. Come on, please finish. Let's go upstairs.
I'm ready to rumble.
Come on, girly. I trust you. Ada's there. Ada got found. Ada got found. Ada got found. My plaything's down here. Hello. he's coming right the hell over here. Oh, he doesn't. He left me is what happened. I'm gonna get this one again. Hi Esteban, how are you? Welcome in. How you doing? How you doing? How's your week? Do you have any plans for the weekend? Do you have off of work tomorrow? Are you in the US? All these questions. I have so many questions. Got me. I need Meg on the generator. He's coming up, 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 he's coming up. Please, please, please. What was he looking for? Did he really lose me? No way. He's still upstairs. I think he's upstairs. Yes to all except for plans. So no plans. Like Meggie, what are you doing? Megan? Megan. Megan? I see you over here. Girl. No. Come. Come. Come on. Let's go. Don't. Why are you running, girl? Why are you running? Why are you running, girl? You don't have to run. So no plans this weekend, but you're off tomorrow. That's great. When was your last stream? I'm gonna get you a shout out real quick. Hi Mickey, welcome in. Everyone get your check-ins though. Mickey, you have to get your check-in. Hello. So many questions. Hi King. Yeah, I was just interrogating you real quick. Oh, he got me. It's fine. Oh, but he healed me though. Wait, why did I miss? The Meg is gonna just disappear. It's okay, guys. It's okay. You streamed yesterday? Ooh, I forgot my check-ins always. I've been here. No, you've definitely been here more than 7 times. Trust, trust. It's like CJ. CJ always forgets his check-in, but he's always here. The hatch spawned right at my feet. I'm stressed. I can't even... Do I even bother watching? Let's see. Will Meg get out? Will Meg know? Come on. Oh, she sees it. She just sees hatch. Love that. Love that for her. GG. My friend's having a cookout on Saturday, so we're going to the park and grilling and drinking and dancing, and it's gonna be a good time. I'm working Saturday and Sunday. I'm working at the restaurant, so I will be working those mornings, and then that's why I'm not streaming on Saturday because of the plans I have, and then Sunday I just have work and I plan to stream at night. So I'm streaming today, I'm streaming tomorrow morning, and tomorrow we're gonna be playing Sims. We're gonna get back into Sims. Like, we're gonna build, like, get back into building on Sims. So I'm gonna have some coffee, a little breakfast, maybe a bagel, and just get into Sims tomorrow. Like, I'm so excited for that to happen tomorrow morning. Mickey, how have you been? How's your week? Do you have off tomorrow? Do you and Bay have any plans? Are y'all busy this weekend? We haven't made any friends. Oh, here you go.
Okay, wa. Lùi lùi wa.
I have to wipe my glasses, I can't see. Oh, it's a nurse. Well, she was close. Let's place it on the table. This one. We gotta get some gen progress. Okay, I'm gonna go put this down. Sorry I'm late. No worries, Ryan. I know you have stream tonight too. It's all good. I've been doing I've been adding this. Talita, come here. Actually, I should low-key get a meal, but it's fine. I'm so dumb. How are you doing though, Ryan? I know you're streaming in like an hour. I'm sorry, Sable. Tired but good. I've been alright, just working, trying to stay busy, also do nothing at the same time. Ooh! Queen Herbie? No way! That's gonna be so much fun, Mickey. Mickey, are you already in Texas? Table leaves one more meal. I think I'm gonna go for a hook. She's gonna TP over this way. gonna grab hook and then immediately put this on the table. Okay, maybe not. Here, come here. I would have used the table if Sable was injured already. I am. Oh, 6 hours away. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna. No. Yeah. No. No. He picked her up too soon. Into the basement is crazy. I'm coming right over there, Sable. Where are you going? Are you guys gonna drive there? I've only been to Austin once. How long will you be there? I'm gonna leave her to do this. I'm gonna do this gen. Driving 2 to 3 days probably? Okay, that's not bad. Like a 6-hour drive's not bad. And that sounds like a fun little weekend getaway. That's gonna be so fun. So you'll be there for the weekend. Girl, where are you going? Why is Sable not on the gen? Wait, why is Sable not on the gen? What is going on? Like, Sable, I left you there so you could do the gen, not so you could leave. No one's doing gens. Except for me. Okay, I think Stable found the one I was working on. Since when? Oh, TP won't. Big whiff. That's fine. We got an agenda. There's something else it's gonna do. Oh yeah. Get that. Like we have. Oh what? Dude. That was loud. A little bit. A little bit. Just a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Hell yeah.
Where's that hook? Where's that? Where's the lethal hook? Oh. Let's fucking go, guys. Okay, we need to get gen progress done. Like, we have no gens. Mina. Okay, this gen is finished. Hold on. Is it... There has to be another gen somewhere. Oh, up here. I don't think I've ever seen this gen up here. I was blind for some reason. Mickey, how was your week? Well, you said you're just excited for your vacation, huh? You're trying to take it easy. That's good. You guys have any like concrete plans in Austin, or you'll just figure it out when you're there? Like, they don't really work. I mean, they were working on gens for sure, but like, why is no one on a gen anymore? There's the nurse. I might 99 this. So now I'm just gonna pop it then. No. It's these two, and then there's a third gen. I don't know where it is. Just found her. Are we just hiding now? Oh, there's the last gen over there. Oh no, that gen's already finished. There has to be another gen somewhere. It's those two and a third, right? Right? There should be a third gen. We just gotta do whatever we feel like doing. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, that's awesome. No, that's the best kind of vibe. I just saw a funny video that was like, go with the flow. But I need to know what the flow is and where it's going. Like, is that okay? Is that okay that I just know where the flow is headed? I don't know where this gen is being worked on, low-key. Oh, it's the one back there, huh? I'm gonna have to get over there. Nice. Wigglyff if she slugs. Which I'm thinking she might not. Slug, slug? Will you slug? Will you slug? Will you slug? She does slug. That's fine, that's fine. Damn! 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 I can't believe I got knocked. Whatever, girl. Whatever, girl. It's whatever, girl. Slugging for 4K is crazy. Slugging is crazy. Goodbye, girl. Have fun. Boo. Yep, there's no hatch there. You should go and kill her and select for the 4K, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Are you leading me to hatch? What do you want? Yeah, well, I can't do the gen. Exactly. But you can't open the door. I have a gen left. I don't know what you want from me. Okay. You have to close hatch. We have to find hatch. Yeah, exactly. Do you want me to do the gen? Why don't you find hatch? Okay, then go find hatch. Oh, this nurse is driving me up a wall. Just give him my medicine so I can leave. Like, why not go find Hatch? Why not go on a journey with me? Why make me do the whole gen by myself? What if I left this gen and went to the other gen? Did she not find the hatch? What happened? What are we doing? The nurse is putting on a show, guys. These killers are just on something. I don't get it. I think it's the event. I mean, I feel like events always bring out the worst in people sometimes. I mean, this killer's not terrible. She's not slugging me. Okay. Or did you find Hatch? Let's go to Hatch. Woo! Oh, is it in main? Oh, is there a key? Ooh! A key? Okay. Thank you. Too bad I didn't have the tome on. Thank you, nurse. How did the nurse know there was a key in there? Dear stalker, nowhere to hide. Oh, and lethal. Okay, I see. Let's dump these points into our girl. Too bad I didn't have that tome on that I needed to do that on, by the way. Let's switch to Gabe. Oh, I have Dance With Me on him. Let's do this, and then let's do Made for this. Honestly, and Conviction here would be kind of sick and twisted. Yeah, let's do that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some chips. I made it back, guys. Also, we have a new crunchy command. When the game audio sounds crunchy. Creamy pasta. Hey. White boy Damien. Oni. Thank you for the lurk, Miggy. Oh my god, what are you gonna get for dinner? Or is that something you're deciding now? Big whiff. Can I get a whiff on Oni? Come on, Oni, baby. Hit me, hit me, hit me. Nice. I have no resilience on anymore. Take your foot off his neck. Ryan, I missed you so much this week. I'm sorry you're tired. I hope you have good games later with RBQ. I'm gonna try to hang out there for a little bit. Thank you. I'm gonna go back over here. Or I'm swapping to bleach. No. Games haven't been horrible. Come on, please. Come on, please. Come on, please. And I got my life back. I'm manifesting for you too. Okay. Okay. Damn it. Where are all these pallets, by the way? Pallet up here. I'm so sorry. I was eating chips. I have no idea where they are. I think they're downstairs. White boy Damien, where are you? Oh, there he is. White boy Damien, white boy Damien. Let me heal you, let me heal you. Come here, come here. Come here. Let me get my conviction up. So real for that. Me on hook. I'm like, I'm snacking. And made for this, by the way. Got my conviction up. Oh, he's stuck. No, and I have conviction. Okay, wait, we have to find the last gen. Is it in the basement here? I know the one in main is being worked on. Oh, it's not full. Give me that back. There's none in here. I might go for a hook and trade since I can. Yeah, I have conviction too. Low-key, I can work on a door. I'm gonna work on door. He's in his. Oh! No way out? Or. What is that? What is that? Why is it blocked? Ali, why is it blocked? Why is it blocked? Ryan, you're so smart. Tell me. Me and Ace, bro. Hi, Ryan. I know, we're so happy Ryan's here. Thank you. Look, it's off. I have conviction too. I'm just gonna full open. That was no way out? Yeah, I had a feeling. I have conviction. So I can afford a little down. Where's Sable? No. I didn't know where they were. I'm gonna just open this. Why'd she leave? Why'd she leave? Why'd she leave? Yeah. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming. Stable, I'm coming. I don't know why she left. We're gonna get her off. I take the hit, that's fine. Stable, take the hit. Stable, take the hit, please. Please, Stable, Stable. I made it out, guys. Stable, you better get the hell out. Okay, Damien's out. No, Sable, get out. I had to leave. I had to leave. I don't know what Sable's doing. Ah! Sable got it. You did it. Iconic, I fear. You know? I forgot that there was a staircase there. Sable doing Sable things. Let's see. Does she get out? Oh, she got Moried. Well, you know, I tried to save our girl. I don't know where Ace went, but I did all I could.
There are really odd things about this.
Oh, I can't unlock it, but I'm in match. She's probably like, why bring that offering if you're not gonna let me get it? He said, I'm getting a drink at the bar. See, he said, I'm out. The goal was escape. Not everyone survived. I think Sable could have fully got out of the gate. Sounding her name, but that skin is, she is so loud. Is she? Are her moans and groans so loud? No way. Oh, another Vecna? We had Vecna earlier. Lara. Oh no, that's V. Just already on this. What did I just witness over there? I just witnessed, not the D1 trap, literally, I just witnessed so much over there, so much chaos. Excuse me. Is he gonna just hold this gen? Get my conviction early. I'm just gonna go back to it. Nice. He left me. He really doesn't want this gen finished. Why do we keep bringing him back over here? What is up with that? He turns around. Okay, he's just a camper. I'm just gonna go with this. I'm just gonna do this. One time Nick Cage watched me open the chest and it was a 1 and I got injured and he just slow walked over to heal me. I'm sick. This guy does not want that gen done, so I'm just gonna work on something else. And friends, by the way. He went back to hit the generator, by the way. Laura, please finish the gen. At 5 gens, how dare you finish it? Literally. No, I'm glad she finished that freaking gen. I was telling her to. I was like, please finish it. I have conviction. I'm just gonna try to finish this gen. Wasn't there a pallet here? Why can't I rebuild it? Oh, damn. There's that friends again. The way they grab is hysterical to me. Laura was really far. The pause. It's like, which one do I choose? Even though it's literally one. There's only one option. Hey, girl. Allie, did you seek shelter in Nola's room? Let's go. And I still have a morsel. You're just sitting in the bottom bed. I love that. Growing up, my dad had one of those, a full-size futon on the bottom and a bunk on top. That's how we slept in at my dad's. I'm just gonna go for save because I can, and I have conviction. He wants nothing to do with me. I'm not exposed anymore. That door's open. Laura got out. You freak. Come on, go. Go, go, go. Nice, V! No, V! V! Why'd she leave? Hook her, hook her, hook her. I don't want her to get worried. I'm sorry! I'm sorry! A slide on the side of it? Oh, that sounds fun. Howdy, lovies. Hi, Bandit. Welcome in. Kitty, welcome in. Thank you for your check-in. I'm sorry, V. I really tried to get us all out. I don't know why. Homeboy Flippy should have taken a hit before V did. But it's okay. It's okay. We got most of us out. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. You know what I mean? I'll be lurking. Thank you, Bandit. We're not going to be streaming much longer. Maybe for like another 30 minutes. Hit that 2-hour mark. Your boy wants some food. Thank you for the shout out for Bandit. You said, watch this. I was trying. I just didn't want that Mori to happen. Oh, we lost someone. If they love us, take it. If you wanna see that only water, let's go. Let's go. It's the best. Oh, portals. Oh, hey. No! I got stuck! I was locked in. It's okay, we got another gen done. I'm not that mad. Ooh, we got 2 gens. Oh. It's okay, it's okay. I forgive you. Oh, it's place morsel versus grab morsel. I need to get my conviction up. Why'd you run? Why'd you run? That was so delayed, bro. What? Tori can afford it. I'm gonna leave. Ooh, portal. I'm gonna come back and try to get the heal so I can get conviction up. Nice. Why are you already here? Oh, it's never close enough. Somebody, come on, please. I'm right for the pallet, please. It's just never close enough, you know? Can you heal me? Can you heal me if you're gonna sit at the gate? If you're gonna sit at the gate, heal me. Heal me! You're annoying for that. Why wouldn't you just heal me? I don't know if he saw me or not. Oh, the door's not over here. Interesting. Oh yeah, it's right here. I don't know where they went. Who 99s? The Nancy? Or no, what's her name? Robin? She 99'd the door after trying to commit to the door? It's not okay. I might take that down. Even though I don't have conviction. Yeah, go that way, go that way. Door's open this way. Yep, it's okay. No, Tori, you shouldn't be dying like this. She got moried. She got moried. That mori though. That mori though. Robin didn't have any hooks, by the way. Goodbye. Alright, this is our last game, guys. Last game, pet game. For your pleasure. I don't want to blame. It's in your name. And she was gone. Ever. The better we can make this art together. All right, last game. Ooh. Oh, we have a table here instead of a gen. Oh. I got caught on the wall. Silly me. Thank you. We can't all be working on gens on this side though. We get to the other side first. Wait, we were all on 3 different gens and somehow they were stopped their gens. Why'd they stop their gens? Why'd they stop their gens? Ali, why'd they stop their gens? Okay, they didn't. They're back. Okay, Ada's back. I'm gonna go to his gen. Oh, there, he brought her to Ada. Oh, I did it! Damn. Oh, the immediate hug is crazy. Right in front of her salad. Just vote. Just vote. Star, how's your dinner? What'd you end up getting? This is our last game, and that's literally what I'm about to go do, is go eat dinner. Oh! Oh, I'm an idiot. The same place, bro. Make hot dogs? Ooh, so I need to eat what I have. That's so real! Eating what you have at home. Yesterday I made chicken Caesar salad sandwiches because I had chicken breast that I needed to cook. And they were sitting in my fridge. So that's what made dinner. It was so good. Guys, I think it's a wrap for me. I think it's the end for Gabriel. That gen was had so much progress. One of our staples growing up was hot dogs and butter noodles. Ooh. Yeah, hot dogs and rice were another staple, like chopped up hot dog and some white rice. Is anyone gonna come get me? Anyone? I missed that one by accident. Here, we're gonna go this way. You think about me, yeah. You think about me. Love hot dogs and they're easy. Ooh. Yeah, hot dogs are easy. Oh, fuck it. Whatever. It had so much, this was so much progress lost. Just can't do it. Come here. Come here. my god, why? Why? Oh my god, we're all healed. Excellent. Let's go back that way. Can I get a whiff? Oh, she got the poison off on me. Oh, I can't be healed. I'm broken. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm crawling to the pallet. 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 Oh, ain't no way, Leon. Good try. Good try. Good try. You know what? That's my sign. And on that note, we're calling it an evening, okay? Thank you guys for hanging out with me so much today. This is a lot of fun. Yeah, thanks for the shouty for Star. I did get one earlier, but Star's back with her hot dogs, or after hot dogs. Thank you guys for being here. I always appreciate you guys for being here. We're not gonna raid out today. But I'll be live again tomorrow morning. We're gonna be playing Sims. We're going to be rebuilding our house. I'm gonna look up some inspo this weekend or tonight and see if we can replicate something I find on the internet. We're gonna do a complete bulldoze and rebuild a brand spanking new house, okay? I'm so excited for that. Then we're gonna try to just get the birthday done, and we're gonna try to get the wedding done. And those are gonna be the goals for stream tomorrow, okay? Everyone have the best night. Thank you all for being here. Stream is always so fun when you guys are here, and so I love being live so I can hang out with you guys. Everyone be safe tonight. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and I'll see you guys for breakfast in the morning.